All right, your boy Masta B here, live from the MMB Radio studios for the MMB Radio podcast, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all, and tonight we're going to talk about some good stuff tonight. I have Jimmy Lloyd on the podcast. Jimmy Lloyd is a pro wrestler, but he's not your mom and dad's pro wrestler. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about game-changing wrestling tonight, spring break down in New Orleans, getting ready for WrestleMania week. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome him in right now. Jimmy, what's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Not much, chilling. What's good?
So yeah, like I said, you're not your mom and pop's type wrestler here.
Not at all.
I've seen a bunch of your stuff before, and I could say it's you're not going to see any Duke the Dumpster Drosies or Doink the Clowns or any kind of gimmicks. It's just straight craziness going on. I guess the first thing I want to kind of ask you is, how did you get into pro wrestling?
Well, actually, I just always been a fan. My cousin was a wrestling fan, and he took me to an indie wrestling show, which was CZW. And then from there, I was hooked. I just kept going back.
Now, a lot of the people in this area, in the Philadelphia area, they're very familiar with CZW and Combat Zone Wrestling. There's a lot of like ultra-violent type matches. When you got into pro wrestling, was that something that you strived? You wanted to do that hardcore style, or is that just something you just kind of just fell into?
I always wanted to do it. That's the style that I always liked, so it was always my intention to get into the deathmatch style. I want to do all styles of pro wrestling, but death matches, like watching guys like Danny Havoc, Sick Nick Mondo, Masada, Nick Gage, it really made me want to become a deathmatch wrestler, so that's why I'm doing it today.
Now, how does one psych themselves up to do something like that? I mean, you're going into this knowing that you're going to be like hit across the head with anything that's not, tied down to the ground, going to be taking all kinds of, cuts and bleeding and everything. I mean, some of these matches, you come out like you've been in a car wreck. How do you psych yourself up for that?
I don't know if I really psych myself up. I just go in hoping for the best. It's really nerve-wracking going into the matches because you just never know what could go wrong, what could happen, because shit can go wrong at any time. So then you're involving, just in normal wrestling, shit can go wrong, and then you're involving glass, barbed wire, just a bunch of shit that you know is going to cut you up really bad, and you just hope that none of the cuts
that you don't
cuts
fucking
will be too
die.
bad. Yeah, hope you don't bleed out and or get AIDS.
Don't
or
hit any
something.
main arteries or anything like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about is so last year, a friend of mine was able to attend Spring Break down in Orlando, and at Spring Break they have a match called the ClusterF match. So people that are not familiar with game-changing wrestling and CZW and the death matches, explain what is a ClusterF match.
A clusterfuck match is basically what it says, clusterfuck. There's a bunch of dudes in it. It's a clusterfuck. There's, 30 dudes in it. They all come in at random times, and then there's just a bunch of dudes in there. Kind of like the Royal Rumble style. It starts with 2, then more guys come in as time goes on, and then it just turns into some kind of clusterfuck scramble match.
And then it's just everything is fair game in these type of matches, barbed wire, steel chairs, anything. It's all fair game.
Yeah, it's all fair game. Death is one of the ways to get eliminated in the clusterfuck.
Death is one of the ways you can get eliminated in almost anything.
True. But, yeah, you get eliminated from life.
Yeah, exactly. So you had a big outing on that last year, and I'm assuming you're going to be taking part in this clusterfuck again this year?
Yep, I'm the only guy in both clusterfucks. Since I won it last year, I get to enter it again this year.
Now, what do you get for winning the clusterfuck match, other than just the recognition of being in the clusterfuck match?
Oh, you get to be the king of the clusterfuck. You're the king. I beat Dank, Glacier. Technically, I beat them all.
And then with this clusterfuck match that you have, so what is do you have a strategy going in there, or is your strategy just to, like you said, not die, or is there anybody that you're targeting in this clusterfuck match?
I have no idea who's in this clusterfuck match, so I'm going in just that day seeing who's in this match, and my only goal is coming out the second winner.
So you'll be a two-time clusterfuck match winner. Is there anything else that you're going to be involved in that week down in New Orleans? I mean, I know it's a big hotbed for wrestling fans, and although the big show, the E, is running everything down there that weekend, a lot of indie talent comes down there. A lot of people come down to see things other outside of, the WrestleMania stuff. What else are you going to be taking part in?
I'm doing some stuff, like the Kaiju Big Battle stuff, and few other things, so should be a good weekend.
Without giving away any kind of spoilers or anything, we might see you show up at different places.
Yeah, hopefully, we'll see. Anything's possible in pro wrestling.
They do say that, right? Anything is possible in pro wrestling. Now, when you got into wrestling and everything, did you have any kind of goals or anything that you wanted to do, or did you just kind of do it because you loved, the passion for the business, or did you have like a set goal that you were like, I want to do this, or I want to accomplish this, or I want to get to this level?
Well, my first goal was, of course, CZW, because it's what I started watching, so that's the first goal I had in mind, was getting into CZW, and then it turned into more international stuff, and just pretty much doing anything I can to get my name out there, and just get into the big companies and do the best I can. That's all I can really hope for.
Now, for aspiring talent out there, people that are trying to get into it, like, what advice would you give them? I mean, I know you've kind of had a unique route and unique kind of way of getting into the business, but for somebody who's new, who wants to get into it, who wants to get into a dojo or do something like that, what advice would you give to them?
Find a good school. The Compound's actually a great school. It's run by Game Changer Wrestling, and the head trainers are Nick Gage and Homicide, so you can't go wrong with that. Homicide's a guy that's done so much in the business in Ring of Honor, TNA. He's been all over the world. He's a world-class professional wrestler. So go into the Compound. Advice just in general, I would say learn everything you can, soak everything in as like a sponge. Be a sponge. Soak every knowledge you can. Get every information. Talk to as many people. Always network. I say always hop in a car, because that's the way that I really started getting booked all over the place. I just hopped in cars with people and met promoters and always showed face and did whatever was told of me, and opportunities came.
And that's one of the advice I've given to people. I mean, obviously, I'm not in the wrestling business, but I'm just a huge fan of the business, and I've loved the business for so long. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, what would you suggest that I do? I was like, same thing you said. I was like, you got to know everything about the business, you know what I mean? Like, watch video, like, you really have to breathe and sleep and eat this shit, because you can't go in there and be like, oh yeah, I watch Monday Night Raw, or I watched a video back in the day, expect to know what you're doing. So that's some real solid advice.
It's really a lifestyle. Like, you just got to get into that pro wrestler lifestyle. Like, it's constant go, like hopping in cars, traveling all over, just networking with people, talking to the right people, because that's really all that it's about. If you don't go out and show people, nobody's ever going to get to see you.
Now, how often do you wrestle, like, in a week? I mean, do you wrestle a couple nights a week? Is it weekends? Like,
it depends. It depends on the week. Sometimes I'm booked once a weekend. Sometimes I'm booked 3 times a weekend. And sometimes I go to Mexico and do 4 shows during the week. So it's always a different schedule.
Now, I just seen something on your Twitter. You were just in Mexico recently, right?
Yeah, I just got back from Mexico not too long ago. I went on a tour for representing Game Changer Wrestling and DTU. It was my 3rd time in Mexico for DTU, and it was a really awesome experience.
Now, what's the experience like in Mexico as far as, like, Mexican wrestling fans and United States wrestling fans? You think of Mexico and it's a whole lucha libre style and everything, but you went down there, with the death match, experience and stuff like that. Is there a different contrast between the two countries?
I feel like the Mexico fans are like, they like worship pro wrestlers. Like, they like Santo's like a god to them. Like, lucha libre is like, it's like big there. So like, they like really appreciate the wrestlers, and like they're always asking for pictures. As soon as you're done your match, like the fans are literally at the ring waiting for you to come down and get as many pictures as they can with you, which is pretty crazy. They like print out stuff for you to sign. So like they know who everybody is. Like they're smart. They study wrestling. They know what's going on in the U.S. and all over. So like, yeah, they're really good fans.
Now, a couple questions that I got from a couple fans on Twitter. Someone wanted to know if you could have a dream match against anybody, any kind of style match, who would it be against?
That's a really hard question. There's a lot of people I would like to wrestle. Deathmatch-wise, I would like to wrestle John Vandig, which might never happen, probably won't, but you never know. Another one that probably would never happen is Sick Nick Mondo. That's in the deathmatch style, and like a normal professional wrestling match, I would like to wrestle maybe Jushin Thunder Liger or Chris Hero one day.
Yes, that'd be totally awesome. Did you get a chance to watch any of the Strong Style involved this past week?
The New Japan show?
Yeah, did you get to see any of that?
Yeah, I watched the New Japan show. I watched like half the show.
Now, is that something that you'd be interested in doing, going over to like Japan and doing stuff like that, or are you just kind of staying like in North America scene?
No, that's one of the goals right now is get to Japan. New Japan would be awesome. It's like the second biggest company in the world, so that would be huge. But like right now, my goal in Japan is Freedoms, because like I feel like that's where I would do best as of right now, because Game Changers really stepping it up with the deathmatch stuff, and they're doing really good stuff. Like I went to Mexico, and Freedoms was also represented in DTU, so Freedoms in Japan would be where I would want to go next.
Now, if there's anything you could change about wrestling today, whether it be pro wrestling, deaf wrestling matches, if there's anything that you would like to see different, what would it be? I'm really happy with the way professional wrestling is going right now. It's with the style of in-ring stuff. It's great. I think it's like the best it's ever been. People are doing more stuff, and like the early 2000s stuff when people were first starting to innovate shit. Like I love that stuff, but like now I feel like pro wrestling's on fire. Like everybody knows who the Young Bucks are, and they're not even on WWE. Everybody knows Kenny Omega because everybody's starting to learn more about they hear about them names, and then they start looking up, oh, Ring of Honor. Like nobody knew what Ring of Honor was. Like people knew about it, but like they didn't know about it like they know today. Like indie wrestling's really starting to blow up all over the place. So I think it's a good time for wrestling. There's nothing really in ring that I would change. Now, a lot of people, like you said, didn't know about Ring of Honor, and you get a lot of people on the internet because the internet is full of nothing but marks and trolls who want to complain about every little thing, and that's fine. You can have your opinions, but there's people out there that are saying that, you know, the big companies like WWE are killing the indie scene, when I look at it and say, you know what, it's depending how you look at it. I think, if anything, they're bringing more of a spotlight to the indie scene. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. Basically, they're trying to make NXT the top independent by bringing in all the top independent guys and making NXT the top independent company for all the independent fans. But also, it's good. It's opening up jobs for people. Like, before they weren't going to hire guys that look like the dudes on the indies, like small. Like, they always wanted, like, big dudes and, like WWE-style guys. Now they're opening up, and Triple H is starting to see, like, oh, this is something big. Let me get all these guys. But it's also on the independent side. Like, people need to step their game up and become the next whoever. Like, they go to WWE, great. You need to become the next. You need to take their spot.
Definitely. Now, what is something you're looking forward to in New Orleans? I mean, have you been to New Orleans before? Like what is something you want to see or do when you go down there?
I was in New Orleans last time WrestleMania was there, just as a fan. I went. So New Orleans was awesome. Looking forward to going back. The food's really good there. Bourbon Street's fun. So
it is.
with everybody there, I think it's going to be a amazing time. Shit's probably going to get out of hand.
Yeah, we could probably have like a makeshift like clusterfuck match right on Bourbon Street.
There's probably gonna. I feel like New Orleans is gonna cause a lot of problems.
I remember the last time I was there for WrestleMania 30. We were walking down Bourbon Street. There was people having like a like Ric Flair like chopping contest, like see who could hit someone the hardest, and like the police were just like letting shit happen. So I
When
hope
I
New
was on
Orleans is ready.
when I was on Bourbon Street, at the time I was young. I was actually already training for like about a year, maybe a little less than a year. But some dude was like tasing people on Bourbon Street, and then I don't even know how it happened, but like some dude started wanted to wrestle me, and he was like, oh, I trained with Hernandez. I was like, oh, I'm a wrestler too. And he was like, let's wrestle. And then he like started like acting like he was gonna lock up, and then we just started wrestling on Bourbon Street.
My dream fantasy is just to have like a DJ in one of these bars just hit like Natural Born Killer and just start coming out with like just Jack just throwing shit all over Bourbon Street, just picking up shit and just start fucking hitting people. But
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. So now you have a strong presence on social media. Let everybody know where they can find you at on social media. So for people that are like, who is Jimmy Lloyd? What is these death matches he's talking about? Like, if people want to get interested in seeing this stuff and kind of like know more about you and game changing wrestling, how can they find that?
You could follow me on Twitter at Jimmy Lloyd 9. You could look me up on Facebook. Just look up Jimmy Lloyd. I'll pop right up. If you want to follow Game Changer Wrestling, their Twitter's at Game Changer Wrestling _. Yeah. Look up Game Changer Wrestling. Buy their stuff on Smart Mark Video. I just recently ran a show by my birthday party on Smart Mark Video.
I did see that. I seen you post that on Twitter. That was very awesome. Now, how long have you been with Game Changing Wrestling?
I started there. Like, I went and helped out at Tournament of Survival, which was the first one back in June 3 years ago, in June this year. So it will be 3 years ago in June that I started helping out. I started wrestling there in September. I made my debut against Nate Hatred.
So if somebody was going down to New Orleans for WrestleMania week, all right, and then you're like, oh, we want to see, we want to see Spring Break, we want to see Game Changing Wrestling, we want to see that. What right now, if you had to cut a promo on them, what would you do or say to convince these people to go to check you out in a clusterfuck match as opposed to any other event that's going on at that time?
Well, Spring Break's going to be fucking awesome. Like, look at the card. Look who's involved. Why wouldn't you go to Spring Break? You're going to get your money's worth. You're going to get to see some of the top matches on the independents. You're going to get to see Great Sasuke, which I don't believe has been in the United States since King of Trios 2011. So here's a great chance to see a wrestling legend go against Joey Janela. You got Pentagon Jr. or El Zero Meadow against Nick Gage. So, like, look at the card. Like, then look at what everybody else is doing. This is something different. Walter versus PCO. Like, James Ellsworth versus Matt Riddle. Like, where else are you going to find this shit?
That's one of the matches I have to say I'm actually really excited about seeing. When they posted that on Twitter, I was like, I'm sold. I want to see this.
I feel like they're really being smart, like last year and this year, of being totally different from what everybody else is doing. Like, everybody else is going to run that super indie show, okay, but Spring Break's something different. Like, this is a place where you get to see different style of matches. Like, you're not going to get to see that everywhere else. Also, they're running that Bloodsport show, which should be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I saw that they have Dan Severin's going to be there. Like, that there, like, got me excited. I'm like, wow, I want to see Dan to be Severin. Like, I haven't seen him forever.
Yeah, he wrestled Matt Riddle last year at Spring Break.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I regret not going to Spring Break last year. And my friend was, like, texting me pictures of it, and I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking envious and jealous of you right now. Like, I wish I was there. So I'm definitely making sure that I'm there this year, and everybody else should be going there as well, like you said, because the card right there is just amazing. And he said they're doing something different than anybody else is doing right now. So you're not going to sit there chanting same old shit. You're not going to see the 5 moves of doom. You're going to see some hardcore shit that you've never seen before. Plus, you're going to be in a clusterfuck match. So what other better chance to see you defend your title?
When you title a match the clusterfuck, I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I said when I saw it, I'm like, all right, I got to know what this is all about. So everybody can go ahead and they can still get tickets for that. It's going to be on the Friday, right? Is that what it is? The Friday evening?
Yeah, Friday night at midnight.
Okay, and that's the cool thing too is this is a late start. So it's just like you can go out, do all the other, New Orleans and WWE shit earlier in the day. Go ahead, go on Bourbon Street, get fucked up, and then head on over to Spring Break and just watch everybody else fuck each other up while you're fucked up. So it's just like it's a great time.
And also for the people that can't come out to New Orleans, they can also watch it on WWN Live. It's going to be live on the internet for the whole world to see, so might as well check it out.
Yet.
Like, if you've seen, like, they posted this thing about the tickets for all the promotions, and it's crazy. Spring Break is the top-selling independent show. Like, they're already over 1,000 tickets sold, so you already know 1,000 people are going to be there, which is awesome. And they're beating Progress, Evolve, like, they're top indie companies. They're the companies that people are talking about, and Spring Break is overshadowing it. It's insane. I feel like this is definitely one of the biggest independent shows in a long time. I feel like this was the biggest indie show that weekend besides WWE and Ring of Honor.
So it's on its own level that these other shows can't even compete with.
Yeah, it's literally insane. Like, even the presentation of it, like, with all the promos that they've been doing, like the Giancarlo promos, have you seen them on Twitter? They're amazing. Like, nobody else is, like, every match announcement has had a video for it. Like, it's different. It's not just a picture that you're looking at. You get to watch the video, and, like, I feel like it brings more hype to the matches.
Which a lot of people have been saying on the internet, the whole WrestleMania card, there hasn't been a whole lot of hype for the matches. They're just kind of just being put together. Where this here, it gets you excited for the matches. You're like, Spring Break, I've seen they have the Spring Break t-shirt available now, so you can go ahead and get the t-shirt for it. And, just have a great time with it.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing my Spring Break shirt from last year right now as we speak.
That's awesome. I mean, it's funny because I usually have like a lot of adult film stores on the podcast, and I usually ask them what they're wearing or not wearing. And I appreciate you just letting me know what you're wearing. But we won't go into that route of a podcast. But no, I mean, it's totally awesome. That you're able to take some time to talk to us and everything. And I really appreciate you taking the time. You seem like a really cool, chill dude. And hopefully I get the opportunity to meet you in person when I'm down there in New Orleans. And again,
we definitely got to meet.
Yeah, and anybody who doesn't have tickets for Spring Break, get them now.
Get your fucking tickets because you can't miss Spring Break. If you miss Spring Break, then you're missing out. You're not a part of history.
Exactly. Don't be like me. I regretted not going last year. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to be in the house this year. Check it out. So, Jimmy, we appreciate you again talking to us, and much success to you in the clusterfuck match, and definitely just tear the house down next week, and bring that 2-time clusterfuck winner, Jimmy Lloyd. It's got a nice,
Thank you
got
for
a nice
having
sound
me.
to it.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome. We're changing the fucking game next week. Joey Janela Spring Break, New Orleans. You better be there. GCW all day.
Awesome, man. Take care. We'll be talking to you real soon.
Awesome. This is Jimmy fucking Lloyd, and you're listening to Mixed Master B on MMB